So we have an ethos that we live by here at the company and that I live by, which is automate processes, but never relationships. Automation is wonderful. It's amazing marketing. It's super helpful. But the whole role of it is to take up the things that you as a human don't need to do, so you can focus on the things that you as a human do need to do. And one of those things you can do is communicate more with customers and start to use video as a way to do this online.
Today, discover 6 ways to use video that gets prospects to open, read, respond to your emails, and give you money. I'm Ken Newhouse. Building a profitable business isn't only about generating leads and driving sales. It's about who we are and what we're made of. It's about finding the most effective methods to persuade, inspire, and ignite the imagination of others so you can succeed in business. If you're a member of the new breed of entrepreneur, I invite you to join the quest as we reveal the newest and most effective methods you can use to get clients now. With the majority of our entertainment options, specifically the ones we travel to enjoy, limited or no longer available, people in the marketplace are spending most of their time at home, which is why it should come as no surprise that video consumption is now at an all-time high. This radical increase in online video consumption has resulted in the skyrocketing of demand for video production from advertisers, making online video the fastest growing digital channel by advertising expenditure in 2021. With no end in sight to the realities of the new COVID economy, the rate of growth in video consumption is likely to continue through 2021. In light of this, if you're underutilizing or altogether ignoring the use of video in your business or practice, you're potentially setting yourself up for disaster. So if the goal for your business in 2021 is to make your business as profitable as possible, you can no longer afford to put the use of video on the back burner of your business marketing strategy. Smart Insights published a study in December of 2020 where they interviewed and analyzed over 10,000 businesses. The research concluded that your clients will spend an average, listen to this is amazing, they'll spend an average of 100 minutes a day watching online videos in 2021. This is a 19% increase compared over just last year, which stood at 84 minutes per day. Datasets like those of Smart Insights are prolific online, which is why every astute marketer knows that consumption of online video is growing rapidly and shows no signs of slowing down. In fact, just the opposite, which is why the average person will spend half as much time viewing online video as they spend watching conventional television in 2021. This means that your prospects and clients, listen to this, are now consuming online video on a daily basis 417% more than they were just 5 years ago, which is absolutely stunning. Now, in light of that data, it's not surprising that 99% of businesses that used video marketing in 2020 plan to continue using it, with a whopping 95% of those businesses planning on increasing their ad spend on the use of video in 2021. Now, as I just mentioned, the study I referenced from Smart Insights is one of dozens and dozens that you can find online today. And that data makes it clear that video consumption by your prospects and clients is at an all-time high, and it's going to continue to increase. That means now is the perfect time for you to research the best, most effective ways you can incorporate video marketing into your business and go full throttle in 2021. As many of the content marketing and social media strategies have become less effective in the heart of the new COVID economy, the explosion of consumer video consumption should not only excite you, but it should get you motivated for several reasons. Number one, video marketing can be incredibly effective at helping you get clients now, engage with existing clients, and generating referrals. Number two, spontaneous, low-budget DIY videos are often more effective than high-budget, highly produced videos, which means in most instances, you don't need to invest in expensive equipment. And number three, the majority of your videos can be shot on a smartphone or from your computer. Now, if those facts appeal to you, you're absolutely going to love today's episode because you're going to discover the latest and most effective methods for using video to generate sales and to delight your video-loving clients. I'm Ken Newhouse, and my guest today is Matt Barnett, CEO of Bonjoro. Originally a British industrial designer and artist, Barnett turned everything upside down to launch a tech company in Sydney, Australia. After a couple of false starts, Bonjoro was born from a sales hack for his first business, where Barnett would send every new lead a personal video instead of a plain text email. When customers started asking how they could do the same thing, Barnett and the team decided to go all in on the idea, and 2 years later, Bonjoro has snowballed into a startup success story. So if you're ready to discover 6 ways to use video that gets prospects to open, read, respond to your emails, and give you money, let's welcome my guest on today's episode, Matt Barnett. Matt, it's awesome to have you on the show today. So on behalf of myself and members of the Get Clients Now Nation, I want to welcome you to the show. How are you doing today?
Great. Thanks, Ken. And great to be here.
You are in Australia. What city are you in as we speak?
I'm in the beautiful Sydney on the East Coast.
Give us, if you could, take a minute or two. I'm sure a lot of my listeners, subscribers know who you are, but I'm sure there's probably a good percentage of people who don't know you, who should know you. So if you could, take a minute or two, give us your backstory, bring us up to speed so we can get started off on the right foot with the conversation.
Yeah, sure. My name's Matt. I'm the Path Bear or CEO of a company called Bonjoro. We do one-to-one video messaging to convert leads, convert clients. I'm actually an industrial designer from the UK originally. Moved out to Australia, fell into technology, built another video business, built that up, sold that, and now find ourselves doing this little project. And that's it in a nutshell.
What's something about you that people in the marketplace, maybe even your coaching members, maybe even your clients, don't know about you, but you'd like them to know?
So a lot of people don't know that I come from a design background. Running a technology company, they assume that I'm a developer or potentially sales kind of background. I come from a design background. It's a little bit different. It means that we as a company run design-led kind of thesis. So we did a lot of work with clients. It's all about UX, good UI, how the product works before we go and build technology. It makes for quite an interesting business, like kind of, again, creative driven. I think a lot of the listeners, even if you don't think you're creatives and you're running businesses, you're probably creatives at heart. I think that in mind, if you are, like, you're going to have a lot higher chances of success because you're thinking of ideas all the time. You think about things in a different way. I just think it's a wonderful way to do business.
Yeah, you mentioned, whether or not people think they're creatives or not, the fact that they're entrepreneurs. The vast majority of people who listen to my podcast, I would say virtually all of them, not all of them, but virtually all of them are entrepreneurs, which by definition makes them creative individuals. So Matt, you're obviously really big on video marketing. We're going to dive into that subject here in just a bit. How does a person get to be big on video and video marketing?
So look, there's a few ways to kind of get involved with it. Look, I think video, as we've all realized this year, is an absolutely crucial piece of comms. It's not in video as such. It's the fact that it's a medium that allows us to get across emotion, personality, tone of voice, everything else. If listeners, like, if you're anything like me, I'm not a copywriter. My skill does not lie in writing amazing emails, amazing messages. I'm much better in person. And so video just enables you to get that across, whether that comes at different areas of spectrum. So whether that's a marketing video that shows off your practice or your services and the culture you have and the way you treat customers, all the way down to whether it's something you use day to day to talk to clients that aren't with you in the room at that moment.
You just mentioned making a first impression. And so as it relates to first impression, what are 2 or 3 benefits? And I know, obviously, I think anybody listening to this show is going to realize that making a first impression, an awesome first impression, is really critical. But as it relates to utilizing video, what are 2 or 3 strategies or methods where we can actually incorporate and deploy a video to really strengthen and solidify that first impression, whether it's with a prospect or even a new client that just gave us money and signed a deal with us, signed an agreement? What are 2 or 3 different ways we can utilize video to really strengthen and solidify that first impression?
Yeah, so looking back to, again, two main touch points of video. One is, like, just in your marketing, like, as a business, like, have a video on your site. Again, you've heard this, I'm sure, 100 times. Have a video up there that explains your practice, your ethos, what it is you do, introduces the team at a high level. Like, yes, get this fairly well produced, because obviously for your brand, like, the professionalism does kind of come through. So you want to make sure that that's shown. So anyone looking and researching can have a look at that and be like, oh, these kind of people that I want to work with, or I want to go and visit and be a client of. The second way is a little bit different, and this is kind of like where we tend to play, is actually using video as a daily communication tool. And so one of the things I would suggest looking at is when you have inquiries come in from leads, when you have a client for the first time, set up a system whereby you can actually drop that client or lead a 30-second video directly recorded for them using smartphone or desktop. This is not high production. This is off the cuff. It's as you're going, and all you're doing is stopping for 30 seconds and saying, hey, Mrs. Jones, saw you got in touch. Just want to, let you know that we have these times available. My name is XYZ. This is what we do. And just, big thanks for looking at becoming a customer of ours. I think if you can take those 30 seconds and introduce yourself and take the time of a customer, it does 2 things. It obviously gets the trust across because it shows who you are. Again, video is a great way of communicating that. People trust people. The second thing is it shows that you're willing to take a little bit of time out of your day to acknowledge, again, a lead or a customer. which surprisingly, a lot of businesses, especially in like when we look at like communicating online, don't actually spend the time doing it. So it helps you stand out and compete as a company that puts service and customers first.
Yeah, I don't know that I have too many members in my coaching program or even clients that are actually investing the time, either them or their staff, to address, a prospect or a new lead, even a new client with a video, just a short little snippet, like you said. Obviously, I've got the webcam set up here. I shoot videos constantly all the time. So videos are a really important part of my business. I know it's an important part of a lot of our clients' businesses as well. But I would say as far as sending, let's say that just a person's a lead, just to shoot them out a quick video, I think is a brilliant idea. It doesn't take long. And I do think that'll set you apart. It's an interesting way that up until now, I really hadn't thought of. I think that's an awesome idea. What are 2 or 3 different ways that we can actually, as it relates to getting our new clients more engaged, locked in with our business, solidify that relationship? What are 2 or 3 ways beyond that initial video we just talked about, that 30-second, DIY video, where we can actually use video to strengthen that relationship and actually get our new client anchored into our business, really strengthen that relationship?
The key here is to map out the customer journey. So take any one customer you have and map out their typical journey with your business, where that starts, where they come in, where they do this first spend, where they return, how long they return for, how many years. And obviously, like the goal here is to extend that timeline. So a customer who might stay with you for 1 year stays with you for 10 years. Now, what you want to do is look at points on that almost as an excuse to reach out and just connect and engage with that customer. So look, there's some key areas. Obviously, you mentioned, a new inquiry coming in, making your best first impression. Once someone's had their first consultation or engaged with you for the first time or done the first piece of business with you, I mean, honestly, like waiting a few days and then just saying a quick thank you, just say, it was wonderful to have you, it's great to have you as a customer. Like, thanks so much. Your next booking, or next session is going to be in this much time. We'll reach out and let you know before that. So just like this is like immediately after they've had the service, when they're happy, when they're positive at that point. Now, this also gives you an opportunity, if you've done your job correctly and you've delivered a great service, is at that point you can also say, hey, by the way, reviews mean a lot to us as a company. Here's a link to our review site. If you don't mind, you've had a good experience, you can go and leave us a review. Now, what you do there is you're actually asking someone to go and do something for you. So it's kind of like display their advocacy, if you like, or display their delight with you as a company. By them going and doing that, and the fact you send a video and the fact you've asked them in person, again, this is not a generic video. This is that individual. Law reciprocation kicks in. They're much more likely to go and do that for you. But in the fact, if they go and leave you a review, they're now spending time writing positively about your company. And so psychologically, their brain is then ticking over, and this is starting to have an impact where they're suddenly starting to bring your company more top of mind. Now, does that mean they're more likely to go and talk about it to someone else or to refer you when someone says, hey, do you know good X, Y, Z? And they'll go, oh, yeah, Jim's awesome. Yeah, you should go into that. So you're actually like driving them into a situation where they're acting as an advocate already, and that psychologically changes their behavior from that point onwards. So, from that point onwards, it then is more easier. Like once it's like a flywheel. You get like the more you engage them and the more you ask them to do, the more they keep coming back and they'll engage further and further. And so one of the touch points I'll just give is, things like when someone's been with you for a year or when their next appointment's coming up or celebrations. So Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever it is your holiday celebration. Like this Christmas, people, like a lot of our clients pop into clients and say, happy Christmas. It's been a crazy year. Hopefully next year's better. If you need anything, we're here to help. But, just a big thanks for being a customer again this year. Things like that. Again, like little excuses to reach out, engage, and when you do this, like, don't be ashamed to ask for a little bit of uplift, like a testimonial or a review.
That's good. Let me just add one more thing, and this is not anything I came up with. I learned this many, many years ago from mean old Dan Kennedy I'm talking about. He wasn't talking about using video. He was talking about other forms of media, whether it's a sales letter, an email marketing campaign, whatever it was. But Matt was just talking about the customer lifecycle. If you notice in your customer lifecycle, your client lifecycle, a point where people typically start to fall off, one of the best things you can do would be to create a very personalized video, like Matt said, and distribute that video at a point somewhere prior to the drop-off point. Don't wait till they stop showing up. Don't wait till they don't return. Get an idea of where that approximate time frame is when you're losing people. If you review your data, you'll notice there is a pretty narrow range where you're going to lose a percentage of people. At that point, you want to back up from there you could actually incorporate a very helpful video, strategic video, where you deploy that video that could help you get those people, not all of them, but as many as possible, through that point where they're going to fall off. And as a result, increase the length of time that you retain those people. That leads me to my next question, which would be, how important is video marketing, not only in the client lifecycle, but in the lifetime value of our individual clients? How do you see the video distribution and the use of video playing into that?
I think the key, taking a step back, is about engagement. So how important is engaging customers and increasing lifetime value? So the point you there, like you mentioned there, is absolutely crucial. So there's a point where your customers, like we call it churn in my industry, like will drop off. So you might see the average customer, and this is the crunching numbers, stays with you for 2 years and 2 months. Like what's happening at 2 years in terms of all that? Why are they staying for 3 years, 4 years? I think the key here is to communicate and engage with clients to obviously keep them more engaged in the company, let them know what you're doing, offers like what's happening, but also to hear back from them and to work out what it is that you're not satisfying, what it is that you're not doing right, what can you learn from, what can you improve. So again, communication is a two-way piece. The point about video messaging and kind of dropping in little videos and using that as a way to communicate, it's just a lot more engaging for most people than text. They're much more likely to reply to it. So your chance of getting someone to engage and reply back and help you build a better funnel is much more likely. So again, it comes back to engagement. Video is one medium that is awesome. There are, you can use different mediums. I'm not saying everything you do should be video. Use different mediums, different touch points. But again, anything you do to increase a response and to do it at the right times, to learn more about your customers, to build a better system for them, that's actually really what you're trying to do here in video, is one of the tactics to do that.
Okay, and so we just talked about just a moment ago about increasing engagement so that we could actually improve not only engagement, but the experience that the client has with our business, the customer, the patient, whoever it might be. But then we talk about super fans. I noticed on some of your blog posts, you talk about super fans. What are 2 or 3 examples of how we can utilize video? Obviously, the whole point of engagement here is to strengthen the relationship with the client, the customer, the patient. But how can we convert a person who's had a really good experience with us? How can we utilize video to convert those people into super fans who are going to then go out on their own and spontaneously maybe create content for us and, become referral machines, mavens for our business?
Again, video is a system that sits on top of deeper systems here. So the idea of a super fan, just to explain. So this is what we call, this is a raving fan. This is your advocate who will not only love you and your business, but will tell their whole family to go and visit you, that will engage with your social media, that will leave you reviews and do case studies for you. This is the kind of customer. And we talk about this, Pat Flynn's the chat that talks about this quite a lot. The idea here is, don't try and get 10,000 customers, just get 1,000 or 100 that love you and the rest will come. I think the use of video here, again, is it's most important, in showing time. Again, showing that you've got time for the customer. So the video message piece is that you're stopping in a day and you're thinking about the customer. Hey, I saw this article. It made me think about you because last time you were here, we were talking about fly fishing and, I check out this. You can build systems in place. When it's someone's birthday, join messaging and saying, hey, I know it's a birthday, in a week, here's a discount, or, just again, happy birthday, whatever else. This idea of just showing a customer that you care as a company and that you think, and this is not necessarily you as the entrepreneur doing this. These are systems that, your team can go and do as well. I do think also doing, again, marketing videos, more professionally produced pieces, have a little think about who your customers are and the kind of content they want to engage with and get content built around this. It doesn't necessarily have to be about your business, be this is us and we're amazing. That's a great first piece, but you might create content that is more educational, depending where you are. So again, it might be about health. It might be positioning yourself as an expert in health and creating content that your community and customers will want to read and engage with and be like, wow, these guys really know their stuff. And then combine that with little points when you get in touch and say, hey, Joe, hey, Susie, wonderful to have you as a customer. And you start to become somebody that you start to become a micro-influencer. You or your brand starts to become someone who this person follows, and they talk about more. And then obviously you need to have the systems to deploy this content. So whether that is email marketing, whether that is a great social media group, and social media works for some of us and not for others. It's not one size fits all. It might be it might be meetups. It might be private communities. Think about where you can bring these people in, because again, to be a true super fan, there needs to be somewhere that they can continually engage with the company and ideally engage with your other customers as well. So look at us as a business here. We run a community, and that community educates itself. We like pop in, like monitor a little bit, but our best customers teach our new customers, and we can't sit back and we can't like throw little things in to get the conversation going. But those super fans turn out other customers. Like, again, it's a flywheel. Like once they start going, and there is a tipping point you need to get to, then they just start to build and build and build from that point forward.
It's funny you just mentioned that, Matt, because I'm working on a lead magnet for my new book, Profitable Podcast Blueprint, and one of the 11 ways to monetize your podcast. I'll just throw this in quickly because it totally dovetails with your point. You talked about coaching and letting your members. I think group coaching for me has been one of the most effective and easy to implement and easy ways to monetize my podcast because of this. It requires much less of my time than individual coaching or consulting, however you want to look at it. Coaching is more, they're going to do the work, I'm going to tell them how to do it, versus consulting where I might actually do a little bit for them. But like you said, I rely, and I have relied, and I will continue to rely on many of my top producers within the group for them to actually kind of integrate these people into the group, bounce ideas off of them, kind of babysit them, if you will, and it requires much less effort from me. I can actually give more individual time to my top group leaders, my super fans, and in turn, they can help manage the group for me. Now, there's always a risk of people wanting to branch off and steal your people. That doesn't happen often, but that's certainly a risk. But certainly Matt's idea of letting people that are your super fans do the work for you, the heavy lifting, the promotion of your business, helping integrate and onboard new clients, I think is a fabulous idea, and utilizing video is one way to do that. Now, if we could, I want to get into what I call rapid fire bullets. This is a section where I'm going to we're going to talk about videos and the different kinds of videos. This to me is, imagine the Jeopardy music is playing in the background. There's a little bit of a time element pressure here that's going on. And so I'm going to read a statement or just a sentence, and then I'm going to give you a minute to respond to it. Yep. Whatever you want to say about it, that's what we got to go. So the first thing we're going to talk about are evergreen videos. And I've got listed, there's more than this, but I listed 3 because you touched on different kinds of videos earlier. And you must have read my mind because I think these are really important. First one is about us videos. Go.
Make this less produced, make it more authentic. Don't make it cheesy. Let your team speak. Don't have an narrator. This is all about your team. This is not about you. You're actually the smallest part of this. Make it about your frontline team. Those are the ones customers are going to talk to on a daily basis. Bring them to the limelight. And just trust them to say wonderful things.
Okay, and so I'll follow up on that. Let's imagine that you have a dental practice, because you and I both work with a lot of dentists. Let's imagine that we've got a dentist. Obviously, people are coming to see the dentist. The support staff has to be good, because if not, I don't care how good the dentist is, patients are going to leave the practice. But as it relates to the About Us video, in my experience, I find that too many dentists, actually professionals as a general rule, they want to sound too, quote unquote, professional. They want to sound too doctory. If I'm understanding you correctly, you don't come across real doctory and super, obviously you are professional, but you don't sound too, quote unquote, official when you're in the room with the patient. You're laid back, you're friendly, things like that. That's how you should come across in your About Us videos, yes?
Yeah, like the doctor I go to, he's a fisherman, I'm a fisherman, we chat about that the whole time. Like, he comforts me and like removes my nerves. I assume that most dentists are pretty good. Like, maybe my level's not there. So therefore, I go there because I also trust them. There's someone I like, and that's the part for me. So if that doesn't come across, and they just purely come across, let's say, with like the doctor speak, I don't necessarily get to that point. So like, I want to see that the person is someone that I will trust and engage with. On top of that, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, it's one of the points that I try to hammer home with people. You'd be surprised how many dentists are resistant about letting people see the real side of them. They try to sound real official, like they're in some sort of an official government commercial or something like that. And that's just the wrong approach to take. Okay, here's the second one. Outcome-based video testimonials. Go.
Testimonials, like word of mouth, like absolutely crucial to how you run a business. Make sure they include results. So when you're doing testimonials, when you're doing case studies, you've got to have result there. So what happened? What did we do? What was the result? So don't just make them wishy-washy. This dentist practice is awesome. The guy's lovely. Like, what happened? Because people will look at numbers, they'll remember numbers, they'll remember facts, and they'll remember results. And those are things that will shift them over from a competitor.
Yeah, as an example, you mentioned facts and figures and numbers. Half the people that come to a dentist have a thing called dental fear. It's a real condition where they're literally terrified to come to the dentist. So the worst kind of testimonial videos, and quite honestly, most dentists aren't adept enough to make these videos. The ones that are, most of their videos are lame because they have videos that say, oh, Dr. Smith's office is great. They've got great artwork in there. It's always clean in the office. The staff, they're nice to me. It's easy to get to. I don't have to wait long. Those are okay, but it would be better, a testimonial. Matt talked about an outcome. How about this? My whole life been terrified to go to the dentist. The previous 2 dentists I went to had a horrible experience. And then I went and saw Dr. Matt Barnett. I flew all the way to Australia to see Dr. Barnett because I heard he was an awesome dentist. Matter of fact, I didn't want to go, but my sister made me go and she flew with me. I went to Dr. Barnett and he never hurt me once. In fact, I never even felt the needles when he numbed up my mouth. And so I'll never, ever, ever be afraid to go to the dentist again as long as it's Dr. Matt Barnett. So that would be a great outcome-based video testimonial. And so I think, again, you brought up another killer point, Matt. All right, here's the next and last type of evergreen video that we can deploy. Number one, on our website, I think is a real good place. And I'm getting a lot of this information off your website, but also online. We can deploy these online. Explainer videos. Go.
Explain the process that somebody will go to. So like a little bit like with the testimonials, when you're explaining, understand what it is that people want to have explained. So where are their questions? Where are their fears? And address each of those. So with dentists, again, it's about example. Obviously, coming into the practice, what's going to happen? What the first checkup, and then what flows from that point of view. You might want to explain pricing, maybe talk around that. But again, look, work it out where people get confused, what it is they want to address. Us as a company, we do the same thing. We actually interview customers and we look at what they do online and then we go and try and address those. We don't necessarily write what we think we should write. We write what they think we should write. So again, write what your customers want to hear, not maybe the science behind things, which they might be beyond them.
All right, here's the next one. This is a DIY video. And I think this one is probably the most overlooked and underutilized type of video that a business owner, whether you're a coach, consultant, professional, doesn't matter. This is probably the most underutilized video that you can use that would, provide huge benefits to your business. But these are user-generated content videos. Go.
To get this happening, again, you want to get your super fans, you want to get your community, you want to get your most engaged users, and you want to connect into their social channels and where they're already creating videos. I think if you start where they already are and then pull their content across, that's a really easy way to get started. I think once you start to build a base of like true super fans, you'll be able to ask them to start to create content for you. This will come a little bit later. So again, initially you want to use the content they're creating, the lines of your brand, the lines of what you're doing. Take a dentistry. People creating positive things, talking about health, etc., etc. That's the kind of stuff you want to take and you want to share out. Once you get better, get them to do videos for you. Yeah, get them to do, and this includes things like testimonials. People will create that. If you have any little influencers in your space, talk to them, see how they can get involved. Again, it's about engaging your customers. Make sure you're using content that aligns with your brand. So where that sits, don't be afraid about going a little bit less professional. Again, I would say here, like bring stuff in, like celebrate your customers, and show your other customers that you have other customers just like them. Like this is the end goal. Other people like me are going to X dental practice and engaging with them. That's what we try and do here, really.
Yeah, it's social proof. It's one of this. That's why we utilize video testimonials, outcome based, because it's an awesome, powerful form of social proof. Let them do the selling for you. Let them do the convincing for you. The people that have already experienced what it feels like to work with you. I think it's a great idea. So let's talk about this for just a few minutes, because I know this is something you guys focus in on a lot. Videos in marketing campaigns and funnels. Talk about some of the ways we can integrate videos into, say, a marketing campaign or funnels to, I guess you could say, take a lead, somebody who's shown interest in our business, move them into the position of a prospect, and then use videos in that funnel to convert that person into someone who actually gives us money. That's, we're all in business to make a profit on purpose. Let's get them signed up. Let's get a transaction and bring them into the fold.
Yeah, so I'll talk about two types of video here. Like we'll start with the personalized messages that I mentioned earlier. So use a system like Bonjoro. It'll actually plug into your software that you use already. So whatever you're using for your email marketing, HubSpot, Entreport, ActiveCampaign, like whatever it is, plug it in. I mean, the idea here is that when a customer or lead does a certain action, one of your team or yourself are being notified and saying, hey, look, a new lead has just filled out the inquiry form, or someone's just made their first booking. You'll be notified, you'll be given information about the user. It's then a case of opening up your phone or opening up your computer again. Like you or one of your team, one of your frontline team can absolutely do this. And it's recording a message for that inquiry saying, hey, I saw you interested. This is me. I'll give you a call later. And then we get you a booking in. And so what you're doing there again is if you're looking at more than one dental practice, you're showing you're the one that care. If they have already booked in, it could just be a quick, really looking forward to see you, just to confirm here is when your date is, make sure you put it in the diary. And obviously what you're doing here is to making sure that people actually turn up for the appointments. So these videos, you'll be told when to do them. They'll take 20 seconds. You'll be given the information to talk about the user, to mention them, and to mention if they've been a customer before, et cetera, et cetera. So again, very, very quick to do, very effective. It's not, you need to get made up. It's an off-the-cuff piece, but it's no more than 20 seconds of time. The other area where you do want to use video is re-engaging your existing customer base. So this is not exactly new customers, but I think when you look at marketing, email marketing is going to be absolutely part of your arsenal that you use. You should be updating your entire past history customer base. Like honestly, like anyone who's inquired before, any leads, anyone who have permission to have their email and to drop off, you should be engaging them at a semi-regular cadence. So don't spam them, don't just over the top. But if you're running a deal, if you're running a special promotion, if you are expecting, an extremely busy period, aka end of COVID, everyone's going to go out and go and do this. Yeah, make sure people are booked in. Like using marketing emails to get some urgency and hey, you need to bookings. It's going to be very busy. And then again, within these emails, you can use some of your other videos. So things like your testimonial videos that you've got, put that in there. Use social proof videos. Hey, look, we've just done a new about us piece. Have a look at this video. What you're trying to do here is to reiterate all the values of you as a company, reiterate why you're good, and you're trying to get an action out of the customer. You're trying to remind them, I haven't been dentist in 18 months. I'm way overdue. There's a little booking link here. Like, I'm in.
What areas of video marketing or the use of video in 2021 do you see that are on the verge of exploding? And what areas, as it relates to the use of video in marketing or in trying to increase engagement, whatever it may be, that are starting to die off?
I think user-generated content, mobile video is kind of booming. And the high production, high cost video is starting to become less of importance. I believe this is because back in the day, video was always on a pedestal. It was TV and movie. And so we always thought that's how we had to produce. I think now recording off the cuff videos on your phone, making quick videos on your laptop, doing explaining videos, doing walkthrough videos, like you as an individual recording these yourself with your basic home setup. People are fine with that now. People understand that. People are okay. People do not need everything to be perfect. I think it's actually also growing authenticity and getting trust across, showing that you can do that. So I think it is a huge move in the customer area towards brands they trust, people they can trust more and work with, especially online with the whole era of fake news and God knows what else. So I think you'll see this grow. I think off the cuff videos that are not highly produced are more trusted, and therefore those are growing in volume. And the benefit is they're a lot cheaper for you and easier to do.
Yeah, and think about this, just to Matt's point about doing unscripted, off-the-cuff videos, responding to either a lead, a prospect, or a customer. Think about it from their perspective, whether it's a lead or a prospect or a client. Think about this. They get a video from you. Maybe you're at the gym, but you've responded and say, hey, listen, I just got your question. I just got your input, your information, whatever. Listen, I'm at the gym right now. Sorry, I'm in my gym clothes, but I wanted to let you know that I got your information. I'll be responding to you quickly. What do you think that says to that person that says, hey, this guy or this gal really values their people? That's going to engender you a lot of respect. Versus if you want to send out a video that's highly produced, that's generic, you want to send the same video to every single person, people don't respond to that anymore. They can see right through that. There's no emotion, there's no connectability, so to speak, in that. That's very low on the meter as far as, hey, really reaching out and touching someone emotionally. But when people can see your authenticity, that you're genuine, that you're really engaged with the people who are interested in your business, that's huge. That's really, really huge. And that's one of the things that I think is really outstanding about what you're doing, Matt. What's the one question that I should have asked you today, Matt, that I didn't ask?
I think probably what's the hardest thing to getting on video and how you can overcome that. Like I mentioned earlier on, I think there has, and this year has pushed us, but I think a lot of people have had a traditional fear of getting on video. It's not natural for most of us. Look, my advice is twofold here. One is a little bit, and this is a bit harsh, but like, kind of get over it. Like it's like you wouldn't worry about meeting someone face to face. Getting on video, people just don't care. Like it's okay to look imperfect. Like trust me, like I look imperfect even when I look good. So like, don't worry. Like it's okay. People understand that we're all imperfect. That is a good thing. Imperfection is trusted. Like it's beautiful. Yeah. So the most important thing is actually just to get started. And like anything, like don't procrastinate, don't delay. These are the kind of things that you can test very quickly. Recording a video on your phone or getting one on your team to, and just sending it out and seeing the response you get. Like, don't be afraid. It's not going to go badly. Like, try it out. Try it in a small way first, if you like. Try creating 10 of these and just seeing the kind of response you get. You'll work out very quickly if this is something that's going to work for your practice and your brand. And more often than not, like, I guarantee it will do. But don't worry. Don't worry. Like, people care less than you think. Like, it's good to be authentic.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to go back into these low production. Some of them, as it relates to, as an example, a professional practice. A lot of them are really unsure, kind of skittish about this whole idea of these, low production, not a lot of production involved with producing the videos. But to be fair, some of the videos do need to be produced and look very professional. But other ones, and I'll give you an example, because Matt, this really point you brought up is such a good point. Let's say you're talking about your staff. You want them to achieve that emotional effect of they feel like they know, like, and trust you before they ever get to your practice. And I'm talking about new patients. So as an example, having your doctor, after the front end part of the video is kind of professional, your staff, your hygienist, maybe have a video of them with their dogs or whatever. I like to fish. You talked about fishing. I'm an avid fisherman. I'm an avid bow hunter. But letting people see that part of you that's like the real you has a lot of emotional value to it. And it allows people to see that, hey, listen, this is a real person I'm dealing with. I think it greatly reduces a lot of the resistance a person might have as it relates to engaging with your business, coming in for that first time. They can see you, that you're a real person, you're warm, you have feelings, you care. How lame could you be if you got a video of you with your dog, or if you talk about some of the things that you like to do and you're not all business as usual and all official sounding and things like that. So I do think there's an element of both having a produced series of videos, but also having elements of, as an example, like your About Us videos, and there's no pretense. That's what people respond to, I think, in videos today. In video, I just read some stats today before our call, Matt. 95% of businesses are going to invest the same amount, if not increase the amount they invest in video marketing. And the amount of time that people will spend, consumers spend on video market or watching video today, live stream, as opposed to what they used to watch, is now almost going to be, they're projecting it 2 hours. Now it's like 91 minutes a day. People watching live video online. And so video is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more important for your business. Tell us about the different levels of service you have, what you guys offer. And then I'm going to guarantee, not the free service. It'd be kind of funny to do that, but I'm going to guarantee your entry level. I'll guarantee a year, the whole 12 months, because I know you have to invest at a yearly rate. You don't have to, that's just one of the options. But you can use Matt's service for 12 months. If you're not thrilled, this is the low-end service, the entry level. If you're not thrilled with the results and the time and the money you invested and get a tremendous return, email me at customerservice@kennewhouse.com. I'll reimburse you for the entire 12 months of his service. Run with that, Matt.
Yeah, so if personalized video sounds like something that you want to try out, and the point here is that it's not a lot of time to invest. I mean, like, give it 20 minutes of your time. So the point about free, get on there. There is no barriers. Give it a go. If you're afraid of video, get one of your more gregarious team members to get on board and let them give it a go. Like, give them some freedom with it. Get up on Jurate.com, sign up. You will receive a video from one of my team somewhere in the world. Could be from South Africa or Australia or the States or the UK. So you'll get to experience it firsthand as well, which will hopefully kind of like explain how it works. If you want to have a chat to anyone, just hop on chat on there as well. ANT will be happy to hop on a call with you again. We are not just based here in Australia. I'm here, but most of the team is overseas. So any time of day, any time zone, we're there, 24-hour support. Look, if you ever want to ask me any questions as well, more than happy if you want to reach out. The best way to get in touch with myself is to go to LinkedIn and search for Papa Bear. That's my official title. There are 3 of us. I'm the guy in the bear suit. So it's probably the most memorable way. Look, reach out. And if you like any other business advice or marketing advice, always happy to help and share as well, whatever we can. But check out bonjour.com, give it a go. There's nothing to lose, I would say, and you'll work out very quickly if there's something that's going to work for you.
Absolutely, and guys, as it relates to the bear suit, he's not kidding. He's got his profile picture of him in a bear suit. It's you could see his face, but the rest, it's like bear pajamas with a hood. I don't know, and ears. It's kind of funny, but I thought that was classic. I thought that was awesome. Bonjoro.com is BONJORO.com, correct?
Correct.
All right. Well, listen, Matt, I appreciate you being on the show today. Anything else you want to add before we run?
So we have an ethos that we live by here at the company and that I live by, which is automate processes, but never relationships. Automation is wonderful. It's amazing marketing. It's super helpful. But the whole role of it is to take up the things that you as a human don't need to do so you can focus on the things that you as a human do need to do. And one of those things you can do is communicate more with customers and start to use video as a way to do this online.
If today's conversation was helpful to you, I've got a couple episodes I'd like to recommend as additional benefits for you, starting with episode 354, how to create and deploy a new and effective type of video testimonial called Storymonials. Storymonials are created using cognitive neuroscience, behavioral economics, storytelling, and subliminal sales strategies to get clients to do the selling for you, which is what you want to do. You know, as I've often said, you literally could be the very best at what you do, but if you stand there and thump your chest and tell everyone how good you are, they're not going to believe you the majority of the time. I'm speaking about, prospective clients, not necessarily your existing clients, but people in the marketplace, they're not going to believe you. Why? Because you have an ulterior motive. And as a result, we can't ignore the elephant in the room. Prospects will think, is this person telling me that they're really good at what they do, that they're the best, that they can do a great job for me because that's the truth, or because you fill in the blank, they simply want my what? My money. Right? And so having outcome-based video testimonials where our clients, customers, and patients do the selling for us is one of the most powerful forms of video marketing you can utilize. And on that episode, I talked about the challenge of knowing which types of video testimonials provide the most effective form of social proof, how to invite clients to be interviewed, and actually how to conduct those interviews by asking the right questions. Now, as you're forced to continue doing business in the heart of the new COVID economy, the demand to bring in high-value clients into your business, hit your numbers, and keep your business moving in an upward trajectory remains. That's episode 354, how to create and deploy a new and effective type of video testimonial called Storymonials, a perfect complement to today's conversation. Also, you heard Matt during our conversation today mention the importance of building a tribe of loyal clients, customers, and patients, and how that's critical to the success and profitability of your business. And using video as a means to keep members of your tribe engaged is essential in today's challenging economic climate. Episode 390, and that was with my guest Joe Paluzzi, where he revealed a serious content marketing strategy you can use to build a tribe of raving fans. Now, you might not like it, but you'll probably love it. Another fabulous episode I'd recommend if you want to learn the best, most effective strategies for building a tribe of loyal clients, customers, and patients in the heart of the new COVID economy. You can find all those episodes on the KenNewhouse.com website, and as you know, I'll be opening up registration for the free membership on KenNewhouse.com on March 1st, which is only weeks away. Now, I'm announcing the date the registration is going to open because, as you remember, when you become a member on KenNewhouse.com, you'll have instant access to my own personal library, the book notes, and the highlights I've captured from that week's guest and their book. You'll also have access to the other books that I featured on the show for the last few years, plus access to a weekly strategy guide that'll come in your inbox every Wednesday. The guide will feature all the links we mentioned on every show that links to books, resources, also other podcast episodes, as well as the most effective strategy we covered on that week's episode. Additionally, the guide will contain other articles online that I found that I think will be useful to you. So be sure to be ready on March 1st. Be ready to get in and register so you can be one of the first 100 people, and I'll tell you about that in just a second, when we launch the new free membership we're creating for you on KenNewhouse.com. Now, in addition to all that I've mentioned, remember, the first 100 subscribers are going to get a free digital copy of the updated version of my book, Profitable Again, as well as a copy of my newest book, Profitable Podcast Blueprint. Now, if you've ever thought about starting a podcast for your business and you're unsure about how to monetize it, The Profitable Podcast Blueprint is literally a blueprint that shows you how to use a podcast to bring high-value clients into your core business consistently. And speaking of incredible content, like I've got on kennewhouse.com, next week, I'm going to be revealing the Profitable Podcast Blueprint, the framework that's got this show on track to generate up to 200,000 downloads in 2021. And for new clients obtained from this podcast, listen to this. The Profitable Podcast Blueprint, the framework, has produced an initial new client transaction average. This is the average amount of money I make from my initial transaction with new clients generated from this show is $34,211, which is absolutely amazing. I cover all this in my new book, Profitable Podcast Blueprint, and that's going to be the topic of next week's show. And at the conclusion of next week's episode, I'll provide a link where you can actually download the first several chapters of the Profitable Podcast Blueprint absolutely free, no email required. So if you thought about having your own show, and if the idea of having a podcast you can use to consistently bring high-value new clients into your business appeals to you, be sure to listen to next week's episode. Have a great week, and I'll see you on Monday.
Our objective with this podcast is to help you and your business stand out in the marketplace by crystallizing your messaging, marketing, and communications. On behalf of the whole Ken Newhouse team, thanks for listening.